Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. We will begin the book of Khulasat-un-Nahw, the first part, introductory discussion. Definition of Nahw. Nahw is the knowledge of such rules in which the states of the end of an ism, which is a noun, the end of a fi'l, which is a verb, and the end of a harf, a particle. So the rules in which the states of the end of these ism, fi'l and harf, and the method of joining these to one another becomes known. So this is the knowledge of Nahw. The mawdu, the subject of Nahw. What is the subject of Nahw? What do we study in Nahw? We study kalima and kalam. What do we study?
Kalima and kalam.
Kalima and kalam. Kalima is a word, and then when you have a number of words, then these words make up kalam, which is speech. So kalima and kalam is the subject matter of Nahw. What is the ghard or ghayat, the purpose of Nahw? The purpose is to understand the Quran Majid and the Sunnat Sharif, and to protect oneself from mistakes in terms of words of the Arabic language. So we study Nahw so we can protect ourselves from mistakes in the Arabic language, grammatical mistakes, and essentially to understand the Quran and the Hadith. Wajhut tasmiya, why is it named this? What is the reason for it being named as Nahw? One of the meanings of the word Nahw is method. Another meaning is when you say like for example, when you give a likeness or an example, like when you say for example. So Nahw is used for that as well. Why? Because the one who knows this knowledge, he follows the example, he follows the method of the Arabs in terms of speaking Arabic. This is why it's called ilmun nahw, the knowledge of Nahw, because it is a likeness. What likeness does it give you? It gives you a likeness of the Arabs. It makes you like an example. Follow the example of the Arabs, the way they speak. So, secondly, what else is discussed in the knowledge of Nahw, as we mentioned in the beginning in the definition? The ends of the different types of kalima. The end of a noun, which is ism. The end of a fi'l, which is a verb. The end of a harf, which is a particle. The end of these words is also discussed in Nahw. So also this branch of knowledge is also known as ilmul i'rab. Yeah? Because the i'rab, meaning the zabar or the zair or the pesh. Do you get it? That is discussed in this knowledge. So this knowledge is also called ilmul i'rab. Ilmul Nahw is also known as
Ilmul i'rab.
Well done. Achha, next, the status of Nahw. When should a person attain this knowledge? Ilmul Nahw is studied after ilmul sarf. After the knowledge of sarf, the knowledge of Nahw is studied. But it should be studied before ilmul balagha, the knowledge of eloquence. Balaghat goes further than grammar, and then you start studying Arabic language further in terms of its eloquence and stuff. But that is done afterwards. But Nahw is studied after sarf. What is the ruling of ilmun Nahw? The ruling is it is wajib kifaya. Wajib kifaya meaning it is wajib on a certain group of Muslims to study this knowledge. If none of the Muslims study it, they will all be guilty of wrongdoing. Okay? So someone from the Muslims has to take up this duty. Usually it is the people of knowledge, the scholars. If no one studies the knowledge of Nahw, then all of the Muslim Ummah will be guilty of wrongdoing. Next, ma bihil istimdad, that in which the rules and proofs of Nahw are made from. What is Nahw derived from? What are its rules derived from? Firstly, primarily, the Holy Quran. Okay? We look at the language of the Holy Quran, and the method of it, and any other language of Arabic, when we construct any sentences or things, we have to compare it to the Quran, and the rules are derived from the Quran. Or the Quran said it like this, that becomes a rule. Or number two, if the Sunnah Sharif, the Hadith Sharif of the Messenger of Allah sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wasallam, if that was the method used in the Hadith Sharif, that becomes a rule. And also pure Arabic speech, like the poetry of ancient Arabs, the language of ancient Arabs, that is also pure Arabic speech. So these are the sources of rules. Okay, so these rules are made for the knowledge of Nahw. Then in terms of the appointer of Nahw, the founder of the knowledge of Nahw, it mentions here Sayyidina Umar ibn al-Khattab radiyallahu ta'ala anhu, the second Khalifa of Islam. It also mentions Sayyidina Ali ibn Abi Talib radiyallahu ta'ala anhu, the fourth Khalifa of Islam. And it also mentions Sayyidina Abu al-Aswad rahimahullah as the founder of the knowledge of Nahw, who are well-known contributors and leaders, imams of the knowledge of Nahw. There are two groups. There's the Basri and the Kufi. Those of Basra and those of Kufa, two cities in Iraq. Some of the famous imams from Basra, or the Basriyun, are known as Imams Sibawayh, Khalil, Yunus, Akhfash, Qutrub, Mazni, Zajjaj, Ibn Kaysan, Farisi, Ibn Jinni, Sayrafi, and so on. Then there's some mention of Kufa, the Kufis, Kufiyun. It mentions Imam Kisai, Imam Mubarrad, Imam Farra, Imam Tha'lab, and Imam Muhammad Anbari. So these are some of the Imams, and these were the introductory matters in the knowledge of Nahw.